Word, son. What do you do, YouTube? It's your boy, Jay Devon. Alright, before we get into this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. If you haven't already, you can hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get up into it. Alright, man, so real quick, I know we talked about the gameplay trailer and pretty much how we felt about it, or how I felt about it. And again, I like what they showed us, and it sounds pretty promising. But there were a few things that I seen that were pretty glaring that, I was like, we could be able to nip this in the bud before it gets too bad now. So make sure you sit back, chill, take a pee break, pause the video, get you some popcorn, because you know how I do. Now, without further ado, let's get up into it. So one of the things that I've seen, this first clip here I want to talk about this Texas A&M DB on this play where he literally turns around, he looks at what's going on, and he turns around and goes upfield. I don't want to see this. This is something that if you're on defense and you're trying to defend this, you're looking at your players, you're trying to figure out what's going on, because again, you can't be everywhere at all times. Now, when you look at this play, you're looking at it from a perspective of, oh, he's getting a big gain, but you're having DBs still dumb out when they should be aware as to what's going on in that situation. Now, it's different if the DB was coming down, he had to make a choice of whether to go for the running back or go for the quarterback. Then there's something totally different that changes the dynamic. But we can't have DBs dumbing out like that, going back up the field to try to say that, oh, he has low awareness or low play rate. This is an eyesore. We can't have things like this happening during the game. Like, this is unacceptable. We need to make sure that this is kept to a minimum. If not, we need to make sure that it doesn't happen at all. But again, best case scenario, we'll just keep this to a minimum, but we need to fix this. Now, the Alabama lineman that you see that's in the double team, I still see a lot of the times, and I've made videos talking about this, EA has to learn to go back to implementing second level blocking. If you don't have an assignment, and you're just helping out on the double team, because I've seen this with a lot of linemen, like give an example with Kelsey, right? Jason Kelsey. Now, whenever there is a lineman that doesn't have a guy to block when he's pulling, if he's on a double team block, he does his best, he does his damnness to make sure that he gives a great push to help his man out on his assignment, and then he goes up to the second level to go find somebody else to block. But EA is still fixated on making sure that these double team blocks occur, and then whenever it's time for, like, you might have a hole right there to hit, but you got a guy coming through free because one of my blockers is super fixated on his double team block and he's not peeling off in time to help take care of that that defender that's there to come and clean me up. We have got to get away from these double team blocks. We got to stop putting so much emphasis on the double team blocks. This isn't a pass play where I'm saying max protect. I need blockers. I need second level blocking. Now, again, if you went to go block him and then I have no more blockers, already cool, it's on me to make the moves. But we got to stop honing in so much on double team blocking. We have to get away from that, because I still see in this trailer, I still see pieces of that still being implemented in this game. We got to get away from that. Now, the DB from Michigan. Now, I seen this, and although he picked it off, he played it, I still don't like the DBs having their backs turned. I made several videos talking about this as well, a long time ago. We got to stop with the DBs having their backs turned. Let's say if you're playing press, right? If you're playing press, your idea is to stay in front of him. You're squared up in front of him, you're trying to cut him off, you're trying to jam him up at the line, right? Now, if he's running that out route, he should be in front of him at all times. There is no reason for him to have his back turned, point blank, period. Because again, what the receiver does, you are moving accordingly. But with him having his back turned, because for some weird reason that's coded in the game, what if he's running a stop and go? What if he was running a route that pretty much gave, I would say, flanked him into thinking that he's running an out route, but again, he does something totally different. You see what I'm saying? Now, with his back turned like that, you're not going to be able to figure out what exactly he's doing, because it's easy for you to blow that coverage because, again, your back is turned. Now, the part that I don't like is I don't like the whole idea that, I understand that it's an ability to where he'll break quicker on the ball, but I would respect it a lot more if he was actually squared up in his defensive stance, and then he happened to literally stand there and say, oh, he's getting ready to throw that, let me step into it, and he'll break on the ball. I don't like these back turned somehow got a psychic sixth sense, turn around and pick the ball up when we go into the crib. I don't like stuff like this. Like, this is extremely unrealistic. If you're going to have DB mechanics, if you're going to have wide receiver mechanics, you have to make sure that these DBs actually do their jobs. I don't want to see this in college football, because what this is going to do is it's going to reinforce a negative stereotype that as long as my DB is set right there, it don't matter what he does. If he has that ability on, he's going to pick it off. It don't matter for him to be squared up or not. If he throws that ball, he's going to pick it off. We have to make sure that we keep it within the ballpark of realism. We have to. I understand that it's a video game, but at the same exact time, I don't like seeing stuff like this, because it's not fair that I throw a pass, because again, EA tries to reinforce that the only way he'll pick it off is if he doesn't see it. How can you see a ball with your back turned? How can you read what a guy's going to do with your back turn? By the time that you make that turn, I should already be throwing it and you're not able to see what's going on. You're not going to be able to pick it off. Now, again, I'm pretty sure, accuracy and placement plays a big part as well. But all that back turn and we still picking it off? No, sir. No, sir, at all. We've got to stop with the DBs turning their backs on these pass plays. I'm tired of seeing it. That's not how a DB plays. Now, the lineman in Tennessee. Now, this part always bugged me. I don't understand why, as an interior lineman, you're turned in a way where if I were to run that way, if I needed to get out of the pocket or if I needed to scramble, let's say if I ran that way, you're not offering me adequate enough protection to the point where if I run, all he got to do is just peel off. Your guy, my lineman, has to pretty much hold me. He has to hold me to make sure that I don't get away from him and go sack the quarterback, because all I got to do is just release and I can go sack the quarterback. Why is an interior lineman, why am I turned in a way, or why is the interior lineman turned in a way that doesn't provide adequate protection? It's not like you're playing the edge and you're turning to try to make sure that you cover the edge. No, you are an interior lineman. You are turning yourself away from the quarterback. Your back should always be to that quarterback, always making sure that whoever's in front of you does not get past you. So now I'm at risk of getting sacked if I'm trying to let the play digest, because for some weird reason you feel like it's necessary for my lineman to turn his body in a way that he feels like is more protection, and then that risks me getting sacked or an insta shed or just simply just letting go from that defender or that lineman and just getting the sack. We cannot allow things like this to happen, and I understand that it's a build that's going to have to get worked upon. But we got to catch this before it drops. We got to make sure we catch this stuff, because we can't allow these types of things to slip through the cracks, because it can really, I want to say it can ruin, but it can dampen the experience for a user when you see stuff like this that is very reminiscent as to what happens in Madden. We got to make sure that we nip this stuff in the bud. Now, the Alabama linebacker. Now, this is a little bit tricky. So with this one here, again, when it comes to coverage, I want to see linebackers anticipate. I want to see I don't want to say like in the same instance as the Michigan DB, but I want to see linemen actually playing their zones. I don't want to see them just standing there. I want to see anticipation. I think that they're trying to relegate that only to abilities. But again, it shouldn't relegate basic needs and basic things and coverages and anticipation. Like, awareness and play rec should play a difference. Like, it should play a role here. It shouldn't come down to having an ability as to whether or not he's on a break on the ball or not. Like, you have to play defense. You can't just stand there, go to your zone, and then just stand there and hope that he throws near your zone, because several games I've played of Madden, for sure, I've seen guys literally just taking their time waiting for the guy to literally just run his crossing route, wait for him to get away from the linebacker, because the linebacker he's not trailing him, or he's not covering him while he walks through his zone until he passes him off, or, you know what I'm saying, he's not providing adequate enough coverage. He just runs to the center of that coverage. If he's doing mid-read or whatever, he sits in the middle of that coverage and just stands there. The only way he'll pick it off is if you throw it directly to him. But if you just wait, if you got enough protection, just wait. All you gotta do is just wait for your wide receiver to just come out of that zone, and just as soon as he gets out of that zone, just beam it to him, because the linebacker isn't going to follow him. I want to see linebackers start anticipating. I'm not saying that they got to pick off every pass, but what I'm saying is I want to see them playing their zones. I don't want to see them just standing there just laxed and having EA make people believe that they just stand there in their zones. The only way that you'll actually get them to pick it off is if you throw it straight to them. No, you are to play your zone from the start of that zone all the way to the end, and then you pass them off to the next zone if there's another zone standing right there. But you cannot keep making people believe that that's how zones work, because at the same exact time you're instilling this false sense of precision QB mentality for these users that all they know is passing, when you have zone coverage or zone logic being that flawed to the point where you got guys just standing there in their zones and they're just not doing nothing. The only time that they react finally is if you throw a pass and you catch it. That's the only time that they react. We've got to get away from that type of mentality and logic. We've got to stop making these users believe that they're Drew Brees or they're Peyton Manning back in the day, or Tom Brady, if you will, because the zone logic is just go to your zone and sit there. We've got to get away from it. The thing that I want to mention is the QB situational throws. Now, this one's a little bit tricky, so I want to talk about this for a second, and then we're going to get up out of here. The one thing about the QB situational throws, I'm curious to see how that plays out, because I see that they have like 4 different types of QB throws, and I guess, like I said, the situation depends on which kind of throw you get. They said that there's different trajectories and stuff like that, but I want to talk about are there actual quick releases with these quarterbacks, because a lot of the times I see where passes can come out quicker than what they need to, but these animations are just they're mocapped as if they have nobody standing around them. They take their sweet time throwing the ball. You look at somebody like Lamar Jackson, right? You look at him and you see how he just pretty much just flicks his wrist and it's gone 40 yards. And that's just him having a quick release. You look at somebody like Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick has pretty much, I would say, probably the same release as Lamar Jackson. It's just a flick and it's going 40 yards. Tom Brady, same thing. You can add all the elite quarterbacks and you can say that they all have quick releases. The part that bothers me is, why aren't these quick releases relegated to the type of pass you're throwing? I understand if I'm throwing a lob, he's going to have to load up to throw it. But if I'm throwing a bullet, or if I'm throwing a touch pass, like let's just say a bullet. If I'm throwing a bullet pass, should my release be quicker? Instead of him just taking his sweet time loading up, throwing it? Shouldn't it be, like I said, a quicker release? A touch pass, shouldn't it be a moderate to quick release? If I'm throwing a lob, shouldn't that be a much more slower release because I'm having to load up to throw it? You see what I'm saying? And then there's factors that should depend on it too. Am I getting pressured? Am I having pressure come towards me, or do I have time in the pocket? A lot of those things I hope play into the fact of the different type of situational throws. I hope. But the one thing that I really wish that we had in some of these EA Sports football games is that QBs have quicker releases, not based off of an ability or an X factor, but just based off of QBs in general. A lot of QBs have quick releases because they're taught to get the ball out of there quick. The only time that they take their time is if they have nothing but time to throw and they have no pressure coming towards them. Other than that, you get the ball there quick as you can possibly get it and accurately. But like I said, I'm really curious to see how this QB situational throw thing translates in the game, or how more information can come out and help us understand. Or, like I said, we see some gameplay and let's just see how that works in game. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I'm going to get out of here, man. Again, like I said, man, I liked what I saw today. I really do. And again, I'm still remaining critical, and I really feel like being constructive and criticizing these things, and like I said, remaining critical, it helps the game progress to be better than what we see. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where my mind has always been. I've always been having this mindset of, if I see better, I'm going to push for better. I don't like settling for just whatever they give us. If I see areas that can be improved, I'm going to speak on that. People should do the same as well. I don't think we should settle for just anything just because, hey, we're getting a new college football game, blah, 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 blah. No, like, we should push for better. We should push for more, because now if we do that, that sets the bar significantly higher, so that when the next iteration of college football comes out, we get a better product than what we got from the previous year. So if we start strong here, just imagine how far we can go from there. You know what I'm saying? So again, Let's keep the same energy going. I hope College Football 25 does great. Until then, we're going to see and keep our eyes open for more gameplay and more information to come out. But yeah, like I said, man, I like what I saw. But those things that I mentioned, I want to see those things tightened up. But yeah, like I said, man, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Make sure to like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread links, because you know how I do. But I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Devine, and I'm signing out. Peace.